This is the tutorial for the viticulture tool that we have at regional scale in the Campania region, Markfeld, Dall'Acampo. Today I'm going to show you some application of the viticultural tool in Campania region. First of all, we have to choose our area of interest, the scale at which we can use the land support platform. In this case, Campania region, as I said, and is on the right side of the graphical user interface panel in this green folder, which is the common agricultural policy. And clicking on this folder, we can find the tool called institution in rural development plan. And in that folder, we find the viticulture tool. The viticulture tool is organized, as you can see, in support planning of your vineyard, potential risk of plant disease, support management of your vineyard that it is not yet implemented at the time, and the enoturism subtool. Starting from the first subtool, we have the label describing your vineyard. Label describing your vineyard is a tool that works by producing on the fly a technical report regarding the area of interest that you have selected before to be used as a reference area for your query to land support system. So first of all, we have to do our area of interest, or in some cases, as you will see, the area of interest could be the municipality boundaries, which are already implemented. So in this case, you don't have to draw your area of interest. But if you are interested at a specific area in our region, for example, in a sub-area of the Avellino province, you can click this button on the upper side of the graphical user interface and draw your area of interest, double click to name your area. You have before you have to define your polygon, because we have the opportunity to draw a multi-polygon future. So in this case, for example, I give the name number 1, and after the system asks me if I want to draw another polygon or save the layer I already drew. So in this case, I can save the layer by adding a name for the layer, for example, test. Okay. Now this polygon is saved within the system, and I can use this polygon to query the system. But for this tutorial, I already selected some area of interest to test the tool for this tutorial. So starting with the label describing your vineyard, the system asks me which is the region of interest that you want to use to query the system. My region of interest that I already drawn is called tutorial number 1. So I launch now the application. This message says that the elaboration might take some time. Okay. So on the right side of the graphical user interface, I can see the the elaboration on the fly. The first elaboration of this the groups of elaboration is the last. So this is my last run that I can click and see on the bottom of this right panel the output. In this case, I can show the ROI, which is my area of interest. This is the area of interest that I already drawn. And this is the output referred to that area of interest. As you can see, this technical report, which is in PDF format document that you can also download and save on your PC, contain several information about the environment that characterize that region of interest that I draw. The area that I drawn is extended for 18.2 hectares, and you can see that within that area we can find two varieties of wine cultivation, which are the definition of origin of these wines, Fiano di Avellino and Irpinia, this means that in that area all the surface is cultivated with this kind of wines variety, Fiano di Avellino and Irpinia. There are also some information about the landscape. For example, some statistics about the digital elevation model. We have the minimum and maximum elevation in the region of interest, the average data, such as the slope and aspect. In the future, we will have also some information about the climate, rain and the daily rain and daily temperatures, for example. And we can find also very important information about the most important bioclimatics indexes within the area of interest, such as the Winkler degree, the annual solar radiation, potential solar radiation, Coulomb index, Hubble index, and so on, with statistics about these indexes. We have also a table that contains data about that indexes calculated overall the Campania region. So you have the opportunity to compare the data of your area of interest with the data over the entire region to understand if you are your area of interest is a particular area that is different or very different or not from the mean value of the entire region. So this is a sort of management or planning your activities. And we have also a table containing information about the thermal needs expressed as Winkler indexes degree of some common varieties from Campania region. So again, to have a comparison between the needs of these varieties and the information in your area of interest. And again, we have also such future climate scenarios, again for the Winkler index, where the area of interest that I drawn is subdivided in terms of surfaces and in terms of future climate scenario for the Winkler classification. So you can see that from 2010, 2040 periods to 2070, 2100 periods, the Winkler class change towards the other class of Winkler index, and the meanings of these classes is reported on the bottom of this document. where you can find also some bibliographic references and some materials and methods used to calculate the bioclimatics index and so on. And this document, we can find also some information about geology or soils that falls within the area of interest that I draw. Jumping back to our application, I can also launch the solar radiation within my area of interest. In this case, as I said, the area of interest is tutorial number 1, and evaluate by seeing the thematic map of solar radiation. Clicking here on the bottom on the right side, I can switch on the maps and see what happens in my area of interest. On the left side, I can also have a look at the legend of this map. So as you can see, the potential solar radiation within my area of interest is not very variable, and we have the eigenvalue recorded in the Campania region for these specific bioclimatic indexes. I can switch off this map and go on, for example, to see all the bioclimatics indexes already present in our platform, in the landed support platform. But you can imagine that in this case we have 5 bioclimatics indexes, but we can add other indexes if needed to improve the characterization of our our area in terms of viticulture. So I can use, for example, see the Winkler index in my area of interest. Again, tutorial number 1, and evaluate the variation of these indexes in my area of interest. But I can see that I can say that due to the fact that the Winkler index is correlated to the temperatures, I don't in fact I don't expect to see big variation within my area that is not very big. But if I want to see some more variables, more spatial variability, I can use the same tool in an area of interest bigger than this one. For example, I have another area of interest bigger than the first, which is the tutorial viticulture number 2. I can evaluate the same index in that area and see that here we can have bigger variation for this index. This is due to the spatial resolution of the index calculated. So the bigger area allow to see also variation due to in the elevation within my territory. And so I can all the raster map, but also the vector maps that I'm going to show are downloadable. So we can download this raster map in TIF format to see the same results in our GIS on our PC. The same also for other indexes. For example, the length of growing season. If I again use my tutorial viticulture 2 to evaluate this index and the spatial variability of this index, I can again wait to produce this map, switch on the map, and see that in this case, the spatial variation is lesser than the previous index. And here we have on the left side, we have the legend of this map and so on. We can also see that at this different scale in the lens support, we can use on the left side of our graphical user interface this static information. For example, I can switch on the maps of the areas within the Campania region where are cultivated the best wines, the DOC and DOCG wines in Campania region. I can also see the geology map of Campania region, Campania soils, and so on. So I can merge this information with the information on the right side of my application to have more knowledge of the territories that I'm exploring. The next tool that I want to show you is the viticultural zoning. Viticultural zoning is a pre-processed file which we calculated in GIS systems that is again in the tutorial 1 area of interest. That is a vector layer, thematic layer, which classify the region of interest according to physical characteristics, which is the viticultural zoning. So each zone, each subzone identified within my area of interest has some particular physical characteristics and is different from the other zone. This time of calculation is more time consuming because of the higher number of calculation that the system has to do. So it is finished in this moment. So I can again clicking on the first row of my elaboration lists, because the first row is the last that I'm running. I can show the row, the region of interest, which is the tutorial number 1. I can see the viticultural zoning within this area of interest. We have the map, as you can see, the map where each of these zone with different color has a peculiar physical characteristics. Again, I can download this map. I can see the table of data linked to this map. Those are physical data, but those are not all the data that are that characterize those zones. In this case, we have the WRB classification for the soils, information about morphology, aspect, altitude, slope, and so on. But if I want to see all data of my elaboration, I can see this table, clicking here on results. I have a table where here are reported all the information contained in the viticultural zoning, and I can download this file in Excel format. I can open and visualize all the data that characterize my zones. So here we have the ED of the different zones. I have also the name of the region of interest, the classification, and as you can see, we have more than 50 variables, more than 40 variables that characterize the physical territory of my region of interest. Information about the land use, the soil system classification. We have also information about the thickness of the soil thickness, if stowiness, and also, as you can see, also information about geology, lithology, but also all the statistics about the bioclimatics indexes that you already saw before. So I can close this and go on with my tutorial. Here we have, I have to switch off this map. So I can switch off the map. Sorry, here, switch off the map. And here we have in this folder potential risk of plant disease. In this case, we have also one indicator, which is the Branas index, which is a bioclimatic indexes related to the downy mildew disease. If I use this index, if I want to see this potential plant disease index in my area of interest, which is tutorial 1, or in this case, better to use the tutorial viticulture 2, which is bigger, to see the spatial variability of this index. And clicking here, the last one, I can see the map of this index. As you can see, this is an index which comes from the integration of rainy data with temperature. So you can see the different spatial resolution of the database that we use to calculate this index. In this case, if we see the legend of this map, we can see that the index that in the documents of the tool is also explained. The meaning of this index is in the green environment, which is a value not higher, but also not very low. So we have a medium risk of potential presence of downy mildew in this area. So switching off this map, again, I can download this map, and I can also see the results in terms of statistics within my area of interest and download this data. Stepping back to the tool and the sub-tools, as I said, we have the management of your vineyard that is not yet implemented in our system, and also the ecotourism tool, which is equal to ecotourism tool that you can find in other tutorial dedicated to that specific tool. So the functioning is the same of the ecotourism tool that you can find in this channel as a tutorial specific. Not in the viticultural tool, but very close to viticulture tool, we have also the agricultural and agroclimatic services that we can use in our case study. For example, to see rainfall, temperature, wind, and also relative humidity in my area of interest. For example, rainfall, I can query the system about my area of interest, tutorial 1, and I can choose start and end date to visualize data about rainfall in this case, not from 2019, but from, for example, 2022, from April 2022, 12th of April to today, and ask the system to produce information about this data. So is already done. I can see, in this case, graph. You can see the graph about the rainy data in that time windows that I selected, and specific for my area of interest. Also, in this case, I can download this data and show and see the results in terms of in this table, but I can also download this data. And finally, I can just to show another potentiality of this, this can try to draw two different polygons to have a comparison between two polygons, switching off the old. For example, I can draw a new polygon. In this, I can zoom in and near to Altavilla Irpina. For example, this is the polygon number 1. Okay, name 1, submit. Okay, and now I can another polygon not far from the first one. For example, in Ceppaloni here, another polygon number 2. Okay, submit. Okay, and now I can save this multi-polygon, giving a row name, for example, double polygon, and save it. Okay, so if I am interested, for example, in Winkler index here, I can, on the right side of the panel, select viticulture, Winkler indexes, select the ROI, double polygon, evaluate, and see if there are differences between the two polygons that just draw. Okay, the elaboration is closed, switching on. Okay, in this case, we have not very differences between two areas of interest, maybe because they are at same altitude, not far not found from not very far, but I can say that the area in the north side is a value bigger than the area in the south. You can see here we have more red than in that area. So it's just an example to evaluate and compare two different areas of interest. And you can use this approach also to produce, for example, label describing your vineyard to match the difference between the two areas and so on.